He's a super genius when it comes to jiu-jitsu. And so this is stuff based off of what he's shown in some seminars that I've been to and from watching his guys compete and seeing how they're utilizing it. So we're gonna play with that and kind of go over the mechanics of how we're doing these guard passes, right? Can I use you, Christian, since you know what we're doing? So he's just gonna play seated butterfly. So just seated guard, right? So he's playing this seated guard. We can do this from a seated guard, or we can do this from a side guard when he's laying on his side. This works in both scenarios, right? But we'll start with the seated guard version first, right? So we're here. So my goal ultimately is to get my hand on his knee on the same side and his shoulder on the cross side, right? This is where I'm trying to get to. In order to get there, I have to come around the outside. So my goal is to try to step around the corner and start to make this connection. As I step, I want to make sure as I step, I turn my foot into him, not away from him, where he can foot sweep me and expose my back, right? So as I come around this corner, I'm just blocking this here, which kills his butterfly. Once I've got that kill, I'm blocking his knee. So initially it's kind of like, where do I put my hand? I usually just put the back of my hand, and as I come around the corner, that gives me my scoop grip on his knee. So I put the back of my hand here, and I start looking for this shoulder. I'm gonna push that shoulder to the mat as I come across and get low to control, right? So again, from this seated guard, I'm stepping around the corner, toes pointed back to him so he can't sweep me. Back of my hand goes to the top of his knee. My other hand is coming across to push this shoulder. As I turn, I'm getting heavy and dropping chest to chest. Pass the guard. Does that make sense? Can you see it again? Good. Let's hit it. 3, 2, 1. Slight variation of what we're doing because he's already kind of putting his chest on the mat. So I don't have to push him down, right? He's already kind of laying there and his leg is already there. So I don't have to like pin his leg, I just have to frame or wedge his leg so it doesn't go anywhere. And then we're gonna talk some more about when they get the shield, the knee shield in or throw the leg over and coming around. Because I'm going to add to that as well, and add a little piece, a little component, right? So, now he's playing this side guard. A lot of times he'll go all the way down to his shoulder, and he's just playing here. All he's looking for is for me to step around, and he can start, connecting and attaching to me, right? So what I want to do when he's here is I don't want to step in this time with my foot first, because this is going to allow him to start attaching and doing things, right? So when he's here, I want to block right above his knee first, right? Now that I have his knee blocked, I'm actually looking for his far hip, not his shoulder, because now this leg is still the problem. He can throw that over and start attacking my arm and squaring up to me. So once I block on the mat, I'm finding his hip and I'm running around. Right? All I've got to do is wedge that knee so he can't bring it back in. Right? Because what keeps his guard is that knee elbow connection. So when I'm here, I'm just blocking that so he can't get that connection back. And then I'm pushing that hip and coming to north south to my chest to chest. Right? So that's the only thing that changes once they go to that side guard. Because it's really one of those things where, because I do this to people all the time, I'm looking for you to step in. And when you step in, this gives me all my connections to start my leg attacks and everything from there. And everybody steps in. So it's perfect for me. But I don't want to lead with my feet in this case. I want to lead with my upper body. And block, push, settle. Right? Cool. So let's play with that and then we'll come back and we'll go back to the last one when they get the shield in and coming around. And I just want to show you how this leads right into a reverse gut wrench to the truck, so you can kind of piece all this stuff together, right? Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. But one of the big reasons we do this is if especially you start off a match, you slap bump and they sit down, you can pretty much guarantee they're probably a leg locker. So I've got to instantly think I've got to keep my legs safe, right? So we're using this pass to get by their legs, but we're also using this pass to kill their inversions so they can't attach to my leg, right? So like I can hit this pass and I can come across and I can pin, right? But ultimately, like I want to go all the way to north-south with this. So I want to go here, come across and block his knees. So now he can't bring his knees up and start to invert and get his legs back in the game. Right? And then now I can settle him and start looking for the next move. Does that make sense? Yeah, so because if you give them any space to bring that outside leg in, they will. Right? And that's what we're going to deal with next. Is sometimes they can do that right off the bat. As soon as you start to come in, they will immediately throw that leg over, and now you've got to deal with that situation, right? So when they do that, that foot's only going to go usually a couple different places, depending on where you're at in the process. If you're up high still, he's going to attach to your leg. If you're lowering, then it's going to come around your arm, or your head, kind of up and over. The up and over is the easy one to deal with. It just allows us to scoop grip and pass around the other side. If they start attaching to the leg, that's a different story. The way we fix that is we get lower our level quickly, right? So if they're attaching to your leg, it's because you're staying too tall as you're trying to hit this pass. So as I start to hit this pass, I have to level change and come down as quick as I can as I start to connect, right? Like I don't want to, once I get here, I don't want to be up tall like this. This allows him to bring this leg in and start attaching to my legs right away, right? So the moment I make this connection, I'm dropping my level, right? This is gonna make it much harder for him to get this leg inside of my leg, and this is what I'm looking for. So that now when I start to go and he brings that leg around, it forces a situation where I can end up kind of ducking under this, or if it's here, I can catch here and I can come around. Does that make sense? So if you're getting, as you try this pass, if they're attaching to your leg, it's because you're staying too high and you've got to drop your level more, right? So now I just want you to add this piece where I come here, I start to come around, he's throwing that leg over, right? He gets that leg in, right? All I'm gonna do is come to scoop grip this and come around the other side, right? He'll either go knee shield or he'll throw the whole foot over. Just depends on the person, right? Either scenario is fine. It's the same way. He throws the whole foot over. Sometimes they'll do this, right? Because he's looking, he wants to get his foot like to this shoulder and use that to bring his leg back in, right? So when he gets here and he throws this one over, I'm just grabbing and then just coming around. All right, I'm just going the other direction. If it's the knee, it's the same thing. I'm just collapsing this, right? And I'm stepping through and I'm coming around. Does that make sense? All right, so let's play with that and then we'll come back and talk about the small little difference if he's not playing here, but he's playing in the side guard position, right? Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Back to what the seated version, we're going to work on that hip switch again. We're just going to add a component. So the cool thing with this hip switch is it puts him in a position when you do it correctly that his only option basically is the turtle. And when he goes to his knees to turtle up, it's going to give us a reverse gut wrench, which is going to lead us right into the trunk. So we're starting that same way we did before. We're here, I start pushing it down, he gets that knee in again, right? So we're here. So I staple immediately. I'm coming over the top and I'm punching the mat right in front of his hips. When I do this, I'm going to drop my hip down on top of his hip and I hit that back step. And we're here, right? So I'm wedging his hips right now. So he knows his back is exposed, and he doesn't like that. And I can keep this control where if I wanted to, I can walk this up and block him. But I'm going to stay right here and just keep control of this knee so he has a hard time flattening out, And so what happens a lot of times here is they go to their knees instead. And so as he goes to his knees, I'm just connecting my hands on this near side. This is the reverse gut wrench, right? I'm shooting this all the way deep and I'm getting an S grip and I'm connecting right here. Now that I have this, I just slide my right knee in front of his knee, foot on the calf, and we sit back and I'm in my truck, right? I can go right from here, right to his knee for the banana splits or to the crotch ripper, start hunting the twister, all of those things, right? So one more time, same thing, we step in, I start coming around, he gets that knee shield in, I'm stapling, hand to the mat, I hit my back step, I'm pushing him to kind of convince him to turtle. He starts turtling up, I shoot this hand all the way deep. If I can get it all the way through, that's where I'll get it. I have long arms, so it goes all the way through. If not, as deep as you can go, and connect your hands here, all right? So I'm super tight on his hips. My right knee slides to connect, so I'm hip to hip, and I just step on his calf, we rock back, and I'm in the truck, right? And then you can go wherever you want to go from there. Make sense? Cool, let's do it, 3, 2, 1.